Welcome everybody to this program. I am excited, even delighted to be able to show you what Andrew has developed. But before we get started, I just want to, extend the umbrella. For us, it's not just data analysis. It's not just trend charts, although those alone would be astonishing enough. It's also about recording Anna Wise's and Max Cade's meditations and having them interface with the portal. So for the first time, Mind Mirror self-trainers will be able to do actual awakened mind training according to the protocols that we know work so well, and not just listen to the audio cues, but be able to not only listen to the meditations. I'm so excited. Andrew will tell you all about this. But have it capture, the portal will capture your brainwave patterns. So not even just that, meditations for consciousness training. As Andrew's going to tell you and show you, it's also most excitingly about extending our Mind Mirror community. Self-trainers will be able to hook up friends and family through the data analysis that takes place in the portal. Practitioners will be able to interpret reports. Everyone's going to make more money. We're going to extend our network and have a greater presence in the world, all because of this portal. So it's just phenomenal capabilities, and I'm sure you'll agree as Andrew shows and demonstrates and explains what it's all about. And before he starts, I just want to say that Andrew is on the verge of being an awakened mind consciousness trainer. He went to the Monroe Institute and took a program there and learned about the Mind Mirror, and then came and began to study Seminar 1. And by day 3, he already had fantastic ideas about things that were possible and not even a dream. I certainly dreamed that some miraculous person would come along and do report forms for us, but never imagined anything like what he's developed. And so also to say that he is a software developer for the past 30 years for major corporations, international global reach corporations, and has his own business, Avia Tech, based in New Jersey, and also a business, Quantum Healing Hypnosis, that's based in New Jersey. So he came to us with an advanced understanding of consciousness, the software tools to be able to technologize a word, consciousness, tech it up, and without any further ado, I will introduce you to Andrew and say thank you and welcome, Andrew, and will you just take it from here?
All right, thank you very much for the introduction. I just feel very happy and very grateful that I was given the opportunity to develop the software for the Mind Mirror community, and very grateful that I have the opportunity to speak to you in this meeting, and also very grateful that you'll be giving us useful and helpful suggestions and ideas. I just want to tell you that we are kind of like maybe 70 to 80% done with this product. And at this time, I thought we have got enough done to sort of tell you guys what we're doing and ask for inputs and suggestions, because this software is done for the Mind Mirror community, and we're going to look forward to hear your inputs, because we want whatever we're delivering, we want it to be useful to you. So let me start with presenting what is the mission. We're trying to provide consciousness expanding guided meditations and easy to use analytical tools to meditators, and also facilitate collaboration between us. They're like sort of twofold. In addition to providing guided meditation tools, one very important aspect is to facilitate the collaboration between us meditators, including the practitioners, self-trainers, and even other people who don't have the Mind Mirror hardware and software. And I'll get into every aspect of this mission statement. What's happening now is there's this meditator, and when he meditates, we capture the EEG data with the Relistus device, and then the data is then sent to the software, which you're all familiar with, and then the software would save the data onto your computer storage. This is pretty much how it works today. Now, with the MyMirror portal, it's basically the same except with one addition. So in addition to saving the data to the computer storage, we are adding another component here, which is the MyMirror portal app on your PC. It will be a window on the side, and it will have the ability to send a copy of the data to a central server. It's protected, it's only accessible to you, and it acts as a way to back up your data as well. So that's pretty much what it is. It's an app that runs on the side, and it's when you save the session, the MyMirror portal app will grab the data and send a copy to the central server. How you operate Velistis remains exactly the same. There's just one extra step you do before you start to record in Velistis. And I'm going to show you how that's done. So here you see MyMirror, the Velistis application. At this point, I have the sensors hooked up. I have the EEG sensors, the GSR, and the heart rate monitor sensor set up as well. And now this window on the lower right corner is the MyMirror portal app. In this app, you will be able to choose a meditation track, and they are categorized under these categories like alpha generation, awakened mind training, beta reduction, delta expansion, evolved mind meditation, hemispheric balancing, superconscious mind, gamma synchrony, theta deepening, and transformation, a personal transformation meditation. There will be a lot of meditation tracks underneath these categories. Let's say we want to choose an awakened mind training. Right now, I have just 3 examples in here. Eventually, we'll have probably tens of them in here. So let's say you choose one. You can read about these, the description about the meditation, and you can even play a sample of it and to listen to it to see if this is what you want to do today. So let's say you want to do the journey of, no, the heart of meditation. Let's say you want to do this heart of meditation today. So you select this track. So what happens is, after selecting this track, and when you press the record button, when you start recording in Velistis, the MyMirror portal will automatically play the track for you. So let's see how that works. So I selected the track, I look at each one, I select the track that I would like to do, and then I press record and select the user as usual. And then automatically the MyMirror portal will realize that you have started recording with the Velistis software, and it automatically plays the track for you. This meditation will guide you to a place of peace. And while it's recording, you can press the space bar to activate this button called Add Marker, or you can press the mouse button also, but it's easier to just press the space bar because the space bar is the easiest key to press on the keyboard. So by pressing the space bar, in other words, pressing this Add Marker button, it acts like a clicker so that you can use it to mark the remarkable moments you have during the meditation. And when you're done recording, as usual, you go to Velistis and press the stop button, and immediately the MyMirror portal will notice that you have stopped recording. If you try to save it, then immediately after you save, then the MyMirror portal will send a copy of the data to the server, and it will start analyzing for you and grab all the MyMirror summary. You have the features pack. It will grab the coherence report and other goodies as well. It will grab the HRV summary. It will grab a bunch of information from Velistis and make that information available to you on the web. After it's done the processing will take maybe a couple of minutes. And after it's done the processing, you can see your sessions on the web. Now, this is a web browser here. So before I keep going, let me go back to the PowerPoint a little bit. Let me just make sure I cover all the bases. You record the session, and then once it uploads it to the central server, your data can be accessed from anywhere, provided you have the entitlement and credentials to access it. Let's say you're somewhere, you want to see your data on a tablet, somewhere, you're not home, but you want to see your data, or you remember a particular moment, and I want to type in some notes, I want to make some journal or update the journal about that meditation, then you can log in and update the journal there, update your journal. I'm not going to get into more details about journaling as well, but basically you can access your data from anywhere. Automatically, we do a backup for you. So in the event the data is lost for whatever reason, we can help you recover your data. You will be able to see summary and trends. We just took a peek of it. You can see the summary and trends of the scores, of the training summary scores, amongst all the sessions that you have done in the past. And we provide analytical tools so that you can look at the data from many different perspectives and analyze it. We allow you to create journals of your meditations. We also get into detailed analytics, meaning the portal is aware of the meditation that you have selected. So it knows the script. It knows the script line by line, paragraph by paragraph. To that end, it can generate summary and mini summary by paragraph to see how you reacted or how your EEG changes. So you can get really detailed analytics of what your experience was like during the meditation. And we also facilitate collaborations between the meditators and professionals. I'm going to get into each of these bullets in a minute in more detail. Let's start from accessing from anywhere. So you can access your data from your favorite web browser. It's only accessible by you. There will be ways for practitioners to share the data with his or her clients. So practitioners may have many clients. Through the portal, the practitioner can now share the data with the client so that even the client can access their data over the web. And their client may not be people who have a Mind Mirror software. So they may be just, they're interested to do meditations and EEG monitoring, but they themselves do not have the Mind Mirror device or the software. But still, they can also look at their data over the web through the portal. That's a very powerful feature. And in the future, we'll add a mobile app so that you can also access the data through a mobile app rather than the browser. And obviously, we do the backup and recovery. And also, we let you upload your existing sessions. Let's say right now you have 200 sessions that you have done in the past few years. You can upload them into the portal, and then you can look at how the scores have changed over the years in a way that is very easy to read and compare. And you can also update your journal as well. You can, let's say you may remember last week I did a meditation. I had like one aha moment, and it remembered I wanted to update it, and I just remember something new about it, and you can go back to that and update your journal there as well. Now, let me show you the real thing. So after you log in, this is the first page you'll see. You see sort of a summary of all your meditations organized in a very easy to read way. Right now, they're grouped by type of meditation. Let's say for alpha generation, I've done these in the past. For awakened mind training, I've done these in the past. And so you can compare all the awakened mind training or all the meditations of the same type side by side each other. So right now we're looking at the awakened mind scores. July last year I did this, and these were my scores. And July 10th, July 11th, and so on, and all the way up to December I have done these. And these are the awakened mind at level 5. You can also look at the evolved mind scores, meditation pattern score, gamma synchrony scores, the beta reduction scores, alpha theta, delta expansion, and alpha synchrony. And you can look at all these scores side by side, meditation, between the meditation, you can see how the scores have been changing at a particular training level. Maybe you're training at level 6, maybe you're training at level 4. You can look at these scores at different training levels. And you can look at them by the type of meditations. And I have other types of meditations here. So this is a very useful way to see how your practice has been improving over time. Another way to look at your meditation is just a straight long list. So these are all the meditations, and these are all the scores here. Also, it's a little less easy to read because these are just numbers. Like the other one, you can switch from level 5 to another level, level 6, level 7, and maybe level 4. So we can also look at the scores like this. To be honest, I think the first one is a little easier to read. It tells you more, you can get more information, you can derive more information out of this view. And from either screen, when you click on one of these items, let's say I click on animal centralization, I click on this one, you'll be able to see the details of it. Let's say here we have some notes related to it. It's the animal centralization. And these are my remarks, what came out during that meditation. So I centralized myself as a family dog, and this is how I feel. For the whole time, I felt like seeing the world through him. Very happy, simple life. His senses needs to be fulfilled, and he's happy. So and so on. And you can also edit this one. You can add more notes. Let's say 2 days later, you remember something. You can always come back here and add more notes to it. You can also specify your subjective landmarks. Let's say I have level 6 here. If you expand this, you see level 0, level 1, level 2, level 3, and so on up to level 6. So you can, and it has all the information here for you to help you determine which is the most appropriate level. Let's say I have extremely vivid awareness, breathing. Oh, if that matches your experience, you can choose that level right here. You can also choose the centralization scale. We have the level 0 up to 6 here. So it has all the information here to help you choose the most appropriate one. Obviously, there's the comment. This comment applies to the entire meditation. This is like the overall comment. And down here, we have information that we grab from Ballistas. Remember, after you upload to the server will take a few minutes to analyze your session data. Basically, it will run it through Ballistas and get all these screens for you, including the mind mirror, the training summaries that we are familiar with, the HRV summary, hemispheric balance, the GSR skin conductance, Simmons, blood volume pulse, correlation efficient, a coherent summary for each frequency band. And this is just what we're starting with, and we're going to add more as we go. Right now, we have these. Basically, we have these, the ones that we see up to coherent summary of high alpha. There are like 9 different frequency bands. We capture all those. And in the future, we're going to add more legends at the bottom of each of these boxes. After each of this box, there will be more legends, kind of similar to this. This is just an example. This is just to demonstrate the concept. It will help you understand the data. It will help you understand how to use this data. When I see a graph like this, what does that mean? How does that help me? Or when I see skin conductance varying or blood volume pulse changing, what does it mean? Is this number too high? Is this number too low? We're going to have more information beside each box. But this is what I mean. We're sort of like 70–80% done. We're going to add more to make it more rich, to make it easier to understand so that it's more self-explanatory. So this is the summary of the meditation. Does anybody have any question at this time? I was wondering. Okay, good.
I had a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Stephen.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a question. We have a pattern editor, Will this be able to interface with that pattern editor where we can design our own pattern that we want to work on?
We're going to work on that. I realize that the trainers, the people who are training, they would like to define their own pattern so that they can get the gong sound, the reward when they reach a particular target, I guess. Definitely, we're going to look into that.
Okay, and also I work with, and as Judith does as well, live training. And so I'm giving guided meditations to 4 people at a time. Will my voice be recorded on that the same way as one of these pre-recorded meditations that are in the system?
Yeah.
And will all of those 4 people be sent up to the cloud so that I can analyze all of them later?
What we can do is you can use the Velistis the same way as you do today. That means the Velistis will capture the wave file, the voice file, and when the MyMirror portal software sends the data to the server, it will include the wave file as well. So in the future, when you look at your session, you'll be able to play back that wave file also. Right now, we only have sort of like the self-practitioner version of it. So we're going to work on the practitioner version of this portal, which will allow a practitioner to track the data for multiple clients, up to 4 at a time.
Great.
So,
And one other
coming.
question is that we do, or I'd like to do, statistical analysis. And I want to look at the statistics of those 30 people and how they changed. Say I'm going to, run a statistical package on them. Is there some way of getting the data in some sort of profile or sort of simplify the process so I don't have to go through everything by hand?
May I just interject here that, Gary, I think that's going to be a separate program. I was going to ask Andrew to sort out for us, because it's going to be unique. It has to catch segments of eyes open and eyes closed. So that's going to be a unique program. You could certainly upload all your sessions to the portal and get this kind of information that is given here to you, but in terms of synthesizing that information for a study, that's something we'll have to work with Andrew separately on. I just haven't
that's more of a practitioner research program.
Right, I haven't dared to mention that whole program to Andrew yet.
Okay, I'm jumping the gun here. Okay.
Definitely it's possible with some custom development, and now with all the data in the database, it helps. So it will not be part of the default package. Obviously, there will be some custom development on top of it. This MyMirror portal will make that work easier.
First of all, thank you, Henry. That looks extremely promising. I'm very excited to see it. The question would be, can we do this for specific segments if we add event markers? As you said, with the recorded meditations, we do know what happened at minute 1 or what we should expect from minute 1 to 3, and then you may go into theta. So can we look into each segments at similarly and get the statistics for the segments?
Yes, because we know about the meditation script. When we look at it, I was going to show you this one also. This is very exciting. I'm going to hide the top part right now, just so we can focus on this. Like say the animal centralization, the system is aware of this meditation. The system is aware of, it knows the script. It knows this sentence will be said at, from this second to that, from this time to this time is this sentence. And then the next sentence is from this time to that time. So it knows the meditation script segment by segment. Now, I think what you were saying also is, let's say in a meditation, there's usually a relaxation portion of it, followed by another portion, and followed by another portion. So I'm going to say that in the same way, we know the general high-level structure of a meditation, so that by the same token, we can also generate a summary for each portion of the meditation.
Okay, so I could manually choose the observation time here.
You can manually choose observation time. We can think about that. Yes, all the timing here can be changed. This is the default time from 42 seconds to 51. And if it is not correct, I can change it to 52 and update it. right here. So
that would allow me to have any period during that meditation, which I would like to look at specifically with the client or for myself. If I was observing something specific between minute 2 and 4, I could look then thereafter and get the statistics just for that time period.
That's something that we're going to incorporate. And if that's what's needed, I was just saying that we can change the time of each of these sentences. But I think what you're looking for is at a higher level. So from 2 minutes to the 4th minute, I want a summary of that. So to that end, maybe what we need to do is, when you look at this time scale, we can say maybe we'll provide a way for you to choose from 2 to 4 minutes, this period of time. We'll let you, generate a summary for an arbitrary period of time. Here, you can see the EEG signals, the left brain and the right brain. They're all checked at this time. You can uncheck whatever you don't want to see. So this is the composite viewer with the left and right brain overlapped in each other. And you can turn off the one side, whichever side you don't want it to see, you can turn off. You can also toggle between the two. And you can zoom in and look at it in a closer view. You can also smooth it out and zoom in to make it taller so that you can see clearly. And you can also drag your mouse in this area to look at each second. You can zoom in a bit more. So 45 to there are 5 seconds here. And you can also select a point and then play from here. With this, we can do a lot of interesting things with it. Right now, we don't have that capability yet, but thanks for your input, we're going to implement that, which is to allow you to select any arbitrary period of time and then generate a summary for.
It's an excellent idea, Arne. It's an excellent idea. Yeah. Definitely an important addition. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with what you're doing, Andrew. This is amazing. And, I'm looking forward to all of these sorts of additions that we're discussing today. This is going to make everything so much easier for us and so much more, let's say, scientifically acceptable when we want to talk to other EEG practitioners that are doing other systems.
Right.
This is our data, this is what we've got, and this is, how it's going to compare with what you're doing. And I think it'll, in a sense, make it the whole Awakened Mind training more accessible and more acceptable within the community.
And it's available over the web, so you can share the data much more conveniently.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
I agree with you, Gary. I on every count. I mean, it's so explosively big, it's even hard to get our minds around what the capability means to us right now. But just for a researcher, and just to watch what he's doing right now with that composite display moving, okay, so now there's a big bump in the person's gamma. You can see those light colored data lines, and then sure enough, you look over at the mind mirror and there it is right there. I mean, you couldn't do that before. You had to click on the composite display. Plus, you couldn't see this many seconds. What he's done is spread out your ability to see more things that we could see in the composite viewer. He spread this thing out, or he can compress it, and you've got the mind mirror display right there. It's extraordinary. I mean, we can get to our conclusions as practitioners just lightning quick now. We can go to one burst of information. With Arne's idea, we can capture that and get a summary for it. It's just, I can't even begin to believe the capabilities of this thing. And I mean, we haven't even really talked about this much. If I may interject this point here, Andrew. So you see, Andrew had a few scripts, and he took them and he put them in what we're calling the meditation viewer here, where it says, close your eyes, get comfortable, and take a few deep, relaxing breaths. Well, I've just recorded 22 of Anna Wise's unpublished meditations and another 20 of Max Cade's to come. And each one of these is going to have a script. And my daughter Rachel is listening to these recordings when they're finished and have their music on them and they're mixed and mastered. And she's getting the timing, observing from 0 seconds to 23 seconds because there's no music in this one. So it's just these 23 seconds. And when you look to the right, what you see is the person having an immediate settle down. You can tell their eyes are open. And then in frame 2, you can see that they blasted up into gamma for some reason. And then a little bit below there, when you are ready, sensualize yourself to some kind of. So you're actually in these wonderful drawings, which means the practitioners no longer need to draw patterns, which is explosive in itself. He's captured in that framework from 23 seconds to 34 seconds. The person's settling down. You can see the gray lines behind the black lines. So those are the flares, the gray lines are. And so you're actually watching them settle down. So we no longer have to step through the mind mirror display up there at top right anymore because we have these pattern drawings. And Andrew, I don't know if you can show them right here, but he can actually spread out the timing of these patterns.
Right. First of all, here we are displaying them in different attenuation. This is 55, this is 6, this is 12. So I can standardize them by entering, I want maybe 15, and then it would draw everything with the 15 microvolt attenuation. So we can do a fair comparison. Then let me go over a little bit how we generate these patterns. We can use the more or less detailed buttons here to tell us more information. Let's say if I click the more detail button, I may have to click a few more times. Now it has split up the charts into 3 charts. Before it was just 1 chart, and it's now a little bit more pickier. So from 23 to 29 looks like this. Then from 30 to 31, 2 seconds, it changed significantly. It's different enough for it to split it into another chart. And then afterwards, 32 to 34 seconds, it changed again. It determined that the difference between this one on the left and this one on the right was, the difference is big enough that it needs to have a different chart for it. The more detail you want, the more charts you're going to get, and it will get into more and more detail. Now, second number 29 is on its own, and so on. At a very high level, we now have more charts. And if I keep going, then basically you have a chart for every second. So you can determine how fine grain you want to present the data. And then I go back a few times, then you get back to 1 chart. So it's trying to summarize it so that the main outline is the black one, and the secondary is the gray one. You can sort of fine-tune the way the data is going to be displayed. In the near future, I'm going to add another way to display the data. In addition to just drawing the outline, I'll add another way to show it here with bars rather than the outline, so that you can toggle between the 2 ways of looking at the data. There are some advantages of looking at the data with bars because it's easier to spot how close a pattern is to a target pattern. Let's say I'm looking for evolved mind. I'm looking for kind of like a round shape. It's easier to see that when it's displayed as a bar. Right now, the outline is drawn for you, and it's not so obvious, even when it's even close to the shape that you're looking for. These are some of the enhancements that we're going to add to it in the near future. And here, you can enter your comments, fantasy animal. So you can enter your comments here, sentence by sentence, so that you can provide very fine-grained, detailed journaling of your meditation experience. The original overall comment is also available here. You can also change it here. This is the meditation viewer. We're going to add more to it. We're going to put the heart rate graph right underneath here so that you can see how the heart rate correlates with the EEG. Right now, the heart rate is in the summary page. It's not right here. So we're going to put those together. And another enhancement that we're going to make to it, add some pre-selected settings here. If I just want to see, let's say, alpha, theta, then you need to click a bunch of buttons here to unselect all the other stuff so that you're only left with alpha and theta. So we're going to add a way for you to choose. Let's say I want to choose alpha, theta. Then we'll automatically select those bands that are related to that for you. Okay, let's say I want to see a delta gamma, then it will automatically select just the delta and gamma for you. So you don't have to, it will just make it easier to use for you. So, and we'll also add more legends and more explanations for why would you want to choose delta gamma? What kind of findings would you get if I choose delta gamma? And what kind of findings would I get if I choose alpha theta? So it will make it more self-explanatory so that you can get more insights from it. So it's not just a data analytical tool, it's a helper for you to derive meaningful information from the data.
And may I interject right here, Andrew, that I had a big aha when he first showed me this very evolved composite display up there at the top, because now you have to, in the Ballistas, get a left brain composite display and a right brain composite display. And so now these are integrated into one window. So if you want to look at your 10.5 band of alpha in the left and the right brain at the same time, then you can immediately tell if you've got symmetry. This is phenomenal. You have the two bands here, so you can spread them out. And of course, that is an indicator of coherence across bands, across frequencies. But still, practitioners, or when you have got the two bands on the same track, they're tracking each other, that they start to phase couple, the waveform starts to phase couple, then what you have is high level coherence and synchronization. So what I'm saying here is that practitioners who understand consciousness to a high level are going to be able to see things that this software allows us to see that we've never been able to see before. And we'll be able to provide way better information to our clients. I mean, just think about the coherence reports that Andrew already showed us, that whole line of coherence reports for beta, alpha, theta, delta, gamma, low gamma, mid gamma. That's all 3 separate clicks to get one of those windows right now. 3 separate clicks. I'm telling you, it's just phenomenal that this is just going to all be automated and go right into place for you. I think that, Gary's aha was that this is going to really advance us in terms of our credibility within the scientific community. But there are so many ahas that we haven't even had yet because it's so new. I think we're going to all be, I keep saying explosively, but very excited and delighted as time goes by and we use this thing and understand more about the capabilities in terms of consciousness mapping and research.
And also, if you have any ideas for enhancement, let us know, and we would like to incorporate into the software because it's a software made for you.
Could I ask a question here? Consider a table with 4 subjects at it and 1 monitor, and consider each of the subjects has a button with the label 1 through 4 on it that corresponds to their number. Is there anything in the planning that would provide such a thing that would let the subject push a button and make a marker on the monitor's display that they want to talk about later with the monitor?
That we have to think about how to do that. Let me write it down. So we're talking about the clicker for each individual subject.
Yes.
I can see that it's important to have that feature because we're going to have to allow all 4 people to have their individual clicker, right? So that information is captured by Ballistas. So I think the way I would go about doing that is to get that information from the Ballistas data then, instead of using the MyMirror portal. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. Analytical tools, we kind of looked at it. We have the summary, which shows you analytical tools that we're familiar with. And also we have the context-sensitive analysis. The system is aware of the content of the meditation, sentence by sentence and paragraph by paragraph. And you can look at the summary for each element within the meditation. We allows you to do journaling, so we can track the meditation experience. Oh yeah, we also track the subjective landmarks and centralization scales. We've seen that. And we can look at the data by frequency bands as well. We went into details with it. This we have seen. Now, I want to talk about collaboration. So first of all, the practitioner through the portal can provide training services to other self-trainers. So a self-trainer may choose to share certain sessions with a particular practitioner, and then the practitioner can look at the data over the portal and provide inputs like recommendations and analysis. That's one way to get. Now, another way is, let's say we have a self-trainer, and the self-trainer is willing and available to provide hookup services like connecting the electrodes and even do guided meditations for other meditators who do not have mind mirrors. They could be friends, family, neighbors, or someone who's just interested in EEG monitoring, but they don't have the mind mirror software, they don't have the mind mirror hardware. But they're physically, geographically close to a self-trainers. And let's say the portal provides a way for people to look up self-trainers who are available and willing to do this hookup service. So the data can then be sent through the portal, and the portal can connect the meditator with a practitioner, and the practitioner can provide detailed analysis and recommendation to this meditator. What happens to the people who don't have mind mirror? Maybe they're close to a self-trainer, and the self-trainer is available and can provide hookup services, maybe even for a charge, for an exchange, monetary exchange. The self-trainer can provide this service to a meditator, and all the self-trainer has to do is to provide the electrodes, do the actual hookup, and play a recorded guided meditation, record the data, send it to the portal. It's done automatically anyway. And this way, the meditator can have access to his data over the web. And if the meditator is interested, he can, through the portal, he can look up the certified practitioners, and then he can get professional services from the practitioner that way. So that's a very interesting model, and it provides some kind of an income to the self-trainers who are willing to do this work. And it also helps to increase the visibility of the mind mirror community to the public, so that they're aware of the benefits of this sort of EEG monitoring, which is we know that it has higher quality than the other gadgets that are available on the market, and it's sort of like the research grade service that are usually reserved to the the research community, like universities and other research people. So the meditators who are interested in doing some quality EEG monitoring can now contact a self-trainer who are close by, get that kind of analysis done for them.
Don't we sort of already have separate technology whereby a practitioner via Skype or something like that could actually do a live session with the meditator? So like if somebody came, I have I have the mind mirror, so somebody came to me and I hooked them up. Couldn't I give them a choice where they could either do it just straight from a recording and then we save the data to your server, or could we arrange for a live hookup, say via one of the video conferencing services, so that they could actually do a live session with the practitioner? So the practitioner could, instead of it being a canned recording, the practitioner can watch the subject who's hooked up and take them on a guided meditation and watch their brain waves and all that. how about we give them a choice like that? They could either do a live session or a recorded session.
Yeah, that works too. With the portal, the meditator can look at his or her data on the web, right? Even after, a few weeks later, they can go back in and still look at the data and maybe update the journal. Sure, you can do it with Zoom plus emails. You can do it the old ways. That will continue to work. It's just that with the portal, it's a little bit more convenient for us to collaborate and share data and back up the data and all that. And also with people who don't have the software, don't have the MyMirror hardware and software, they can look at the data as well.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is you could merge the two. I mean, it could be a live session and you could still capture the data on the portal too. I mean, there's no reason they couldn't both happen at the same time.
Yes, it could be a live session. And probably sometime in the future, we will support live session over the portal as well.
Okay.
Whatever ways work. I mean, the existing infrastructure, the video capabilities like the Zoom or Skype, that option is always available. And I'm just saying that now there's one more option. The meditator can also look at all the meditations he have done in the past and see the progress and all that. So we're just providing, some added value.
Right. So even if I go to see a practitioner, they can upload the data to the portal, so I can go back anytime and look at all the charts and everything. So I mean, it works that way, because like if I go do a session now and they don't have the portal, I have no way to go back and review what happened during the session. I just have to take their word for it, whatever they tell me. But if they uploaded the results of the session to your portal, then I could go back and review it myself and make notes.
Yes. Right. Yeah. So we just make it easier for people to share data rather than relying on email and Dropboxes and Zoom.
Right. I was just saying you can have even more flexibility than what you're proposing here.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Okay, good.
If you have any more ideas that the portal can be used to help facilitate collaborations, let us know. Ideas for the MyMirror portal to help facilitate collaborations between meditators, self-trainers, and practitioners. Yeah, we'd like to hear about it, and we'd like to incorporate it into this endeavor. And then the next one is subscription level. I think Judith can talk more about it.
Just to add on to that last slide and say that one of the main goals here that Andrew came up with entirely on his own is to be able to make the Mind Mirror available to more people. For example, I just had an email come in from someone in Vancouver who was desperate for a Mind Mirror session. And the closest self-trainer, closest practitioner was on the whole other side of the country in Toronto. So what this allows is that there's a self-trainer in Vancouver. The self-trainer can hook her up, and he may not remember anything he's read in any of the manuals, but he can upload that session and connect with Awakened Mind practitioners listed in the portal and say, can you write a report, or will you contact this person? Will you interpret this session? Of course, self-trainers will want to, well, not necessarily, of course, but probably not charge their friends and family. Some family members you might want to charge double. I don't know. But for purposes of strangers who come in off the street, you would certainly charge them, and the idea is to help cover the cost of your subscription. So what if the self-trainer in Vancouver says, you know what, I think I'm going to open a sideline practice. I've retired from teaching, and there really are a lot of people here who want to be hooked up. Why don't I just advertise in the Holistic Health magazine that I do this? All he has to do is hook them up. He could give them, and we probably will furnish people with a handout, self-trainers a handout. What is the Mind Mirror? What do all these different things mean? And hook up 2 or 3 people a week. What if he charges, I don't know, $75 to hook them up? Oh, that's real money, and it's certainly going to cover your portal subscription for months at a time. And as far as the Awakened Mind practitioners goes, maybe that practitioner has decided that they're not going to do the work anymore because they don't want to go through all of the advertising and trying to find a market. But maybe they are willing to say, okay, well, I can advertise in a holistic magazine and get a few self-trainers in, let the portal do all the data analysis, and then guided meditations, I don't really have to do anything but hook them up and sit back and let everything happen. And then I have the screens in front of me, and if I want to interpret that for them right there, I can give them the key to get in and look at it later. And so there is money on the table here. There's money to be made, and the willingness of self-trainers to get involved in this sort of network collaboration with awakened mind trainers is phenomenal, because that really is global. I mean, we have way more self-trainers than we do practitioners, but the practitioners could use the money for interpreting the reports, and the self-trainers can probably use the money not only to pay for the portal, but to, who knows, buy another EEG, then have be able to hook up 2 people at a time. The potential is just absolutely unlimited here. And so, Andrew, if you go back to this last slide on the levels. So we thought we would give a free account so people can just try it out. This is, in this case, what you could do is record 3 sessions in a month's time, and they will be uploaded to the portal, and you'll get your data analysis. It's not going to buy you any meditation, so you wouldn't have that facility. But you could just listen to the audio cues and meditate that way. And then if something extraordinary happened, you can press the space bar, you can get the marker in place, and just kind of keep on keeping on as you're doing now, and at no cost to you. I'm probably going to put a 6-month limit on that, because you can imagine that everybody, all 300 Mind Mirror owners, are going to sign up for the free account. And if you do that, then we're going to clog up the system, although maybe that's not a real thing. I don't know about Andrew's server, but probably a 6-month limit on the free accounts where you can do 3 sessions a month. The self-trainer account, that is going to have access to everything Andrew has shown you, except for the coherence reports. And there's a reason for that, and the reason is that Steve Clark sells the Mind Mirror Features Pack, and I really can't give that away because that's an income source for him. The coherence reports are part of the Mind Mirror Features Pack. So the self-trainer account, you could do 4 to 100 sessions a month. There are self-trainers out there who actually hook up more than once a day and more than once a day. So for you, this would be phenomenal, keeping track of your progress, guiding you to the next best steps in your self-training. And also to put you in touch with a practitioner who will say, you know, I see that you have all this gamma, and I read your comments in that meditation, and you said that you feel very relaxed for the first time ever. So maybe you need to train down that gamma and not be training gamma synchrony, but be training the awakened mind. So see, every self-trainer is going to benefit from a consult with a practitioner. The practitioners can price that as they want. We'll probably make some suggestions. Maybe, you know, $35 for a practitioner to go online, or $50 or something. Now, if they're going to do a in-depth interpretation of all those screens, maybe they'd want to charge more for somebody walking off the street. But you can see that this is also going to create relationships between self-trainers and practitioners. People will make friends, they'll share interests. There's already a common ground of interests among all of us. So this really has the potential to not only optimize the game for self-trainers, because they'll be able to do more data analysis than they're doing now, but to get the help and advice of practitioners for a fee, small fee. And then I'll also say that I probably shouldn't open this can of worms, but we hope that the portal will help people train more often. And another way that we're working on that is to work with the hookup. And Gary's been trying the saline electrodes. I'm testing Steve Clark's saline electrodes on Monday, his version that's cheaper. I've tested sponges on our existing blue disc electrodes, and when I get off the phone, then I'm going to continue testing with our present hookup in different positions. And I could tell you right now, and this is really exciting for me to learn, that I tested the occipitals and the frontals and found out that this exact same brainwave pattern as the occipitals and the temporals. So that means 2 less hookup locations. If it turns out that other people's alpha transfers to the front of the head, we're going to test that. So the self-trainer is only going to grow with this in terms of being able to do more sessions, hopefully with some new hookup methodology, and certainly with the portal, and certainly through contacts made that will help them see if they're going in the right direction. The practitioner account is going to have everything in it, most especially the coherence reports, which are incredibly important because it's telling you if you have amplitude symmetry. And if you don't have amplitude symmetry, not if you're doing a psychic higher state meditation, you probably won't. But if you're doing like an awakened mind meditation and your symmetry is way off, that's something that you would want to correct. And there will be meditations in here for that. But the practitioner wants to look and see if there's coherence, and if there's not, help the person guide the people to coherence creating meditations and practices. There are lots of practices as well. So they will definitely have, because all practitioners already have the Mind Mirror Features Pack. That's the thinking there. They've already paid for it. So they're going to have that. And it would behoove self-trainers who don't have that to work with a practitioner who can add that information for them. The other thing that the practitioner is going to have is the ability to store the sessions of multiple clients by client. So, if you have 150 clients, well, you can store them all in the portal. I said earlier that we can't even see yet, because this is so new, the potential of this portal. But I can just tell you right now that I had a little minor aha, and if I've got 6 programs times, let's say 20 people, 120 people at the TMI Monroe Institute programs, and all of their sessions are uploaded to the portal, I am definitely going to be flicking back and forth in those screens and way able to compare and contrast their mind mirror summaries than if I went to all that many documents in Word. I mean, you can see that this is just a total game changer. So the practitioner account being able to store multiple people. Now the self-trainer people who hook up people off the street or friends and family, they will have to upgrade to the practitioner account in order to have the ability to store multiple clients. So self-trainer account is just for you, yourself, and you. Practitioner account is for people who will have multiple clients. So, we've been working on this since what, July or August, Andrew? And the many, many, many other aspects of it, such as the website, the sales platform. Can we get a PayPal button inside the Mind Mirror portal client so you can buy the meditations? What are the meditations going to cost? I'm still doing meditations, recording meditations. I mean, it just goes on and on. And the one thing that we haven't paid much attention to, because neither one of us has a strength in this area, and that is, what's it going to cost? So here we thought we would ask all of you to weigh in. If you are having a big aha or resonance and excitement about this, and recognizing that there'll be some debit on a credit card or a PayPal account or something per month if you subscribe to the portal. then what would you be willing to pay on a monthly basis so Andrew and I can settle on some costs for this? And then at this point, and I think on the next page, Andrew is asking for general questions for general answers. Then this will be the time we're going to just open it up to you for your comments, suggestions, and please do weigh in on what you think is fair portal pricing.
And while we're thinking about it, maybe I can also mention that here I'm going to make it bigger. So here in the MyMirror portal app, we can see the meditations here. We can play a sample of it. And in the future, you'll be able to purchase a soundtrack, a meditation track right from here in the portal. So that's what Judith was talking about, an integration with some kind of payment system, maybe PayPal or SquareUp or some payment system that will allow the user to, browse through the available products and purchase right here.
Andrew, I see a question from Cecilia Cervantes, who is asking, will she be able to add her own meditations to the portal?
Yes, certainly. We'll provide a tool that you can add your own soundtrack and you can provide the timing of each major segment. If you have the script of the meditation and it is, let's say, divided into 10 different segments, 10 paragraphs, you can tell the tool that these are the timing for each segment, and so that when you record, the tool will be able to correlate the EEG data with the timing that you provide.
And may I add to this that it was never intended that it would be only Anna Wise's 22 unpublished meditations, Max Cade's 20 unpublished meditations, probably 6 of my unpublished meditations, but also meditations by other people. If you are a practitioner and you thoroughly understand how the meditation structures work, and you're able to have an effective meditation and go to a studio or have a really high quality recording set up, then submit them to us and add them to the portal for sale. So then everyone has an opportunity to earn money and expose other people to their abilities.
I'm just thinking about terms of website platforms. I'd have a couple of websites, and depending on the company I'm working with, their platform can run between $20 and $30 a month to maintain that platform for the website and all the bells and whistles that may be on that website. And I think this is comparable. So, somewhere between $20 and $30 a month is doable for me to do something like this as a subscription. And also, as a practitioner, as Judith knows, we usually charge about $100 per session for private sessions. So, if I do several a month or one a month, I've more than paid for it. So that would, and the thing is when I pay $100 a month, for a session, they will also get all of the material that Andrew's offering here now. We normally give them feedback with drawings and so on, hand-done drawings that we've been doing for the last 20 years. So, this would be comparable. I could say, okay, and I've already told people this that we did recently. I said, well, we've got this package coming up and it's going to look really great. I've given them some of the feedback, and then I've said, I'm going to, as soon as this package is ready, I'm going to send you, your feedback based on what Andrew's doing once I understand how to put it together. So I think that's, for me, that's pretty much in the range I'm looking at.
Okay, great. Thank you for that, Gary.
Judith, I can see we have lots of chat messages regarding this.
You want to guide us through this then?
Yes. How does the data need to be treated in regards to client confidentiality?
Basically, the client will have his own account. The client will be able to choose who he would like to share his data with. If he is working with a particular practitioner, then the person will be able to share his data with that person while they're working together. And once the service is done, the reports and recommendation is delivered to the person, the person may stop sharing his data. So the data may not be available on the web anymore for him. Versus if using the traditional way, you would send the file, the meditator would send the file to the practitioner will have a copy of the file. With the portal, we can enable or disable the entitlement so that the sharing can start and stop. Same for self-trainer, but the self-trainer will also have a copy of the Velistas data, so that's harder to control, but that's not any worse than what it is now.
You're going to have a key, license key, that gets you in.
So basically what we're saying is we have, entitlement control of who can see what, right? So the meditator will have access to her own data, and she can choose to share with whoever that she would like to share with. And that sharing can be stopped at any time.
I see another question from Cecilia here that says, is there a standard report we will provide and allow people to print out?
Yes, we'll allow the user to print from here to generate a PDF file. And it will have all the reports and whatever standard report that we're going to add. Because this is not the complete list. Basically, whatever we see on this screen, you can generate a PDF file that has everything in it. And it will have the explanatory notes in it so that whoever's reading the report will have sufficient information in there to figure out how to interpret the data and what the data means.
Andrew, there are lots of comments, so maybe I should just read them all out loud. Will the client pay for their account?
Do you want to say something about that, Andrew, about will the client pay for their own account?
I don't know, maybe I'll leave it up to you, but my initial thoughts is that the meditators would have a free account for a period of time, and the meditator could upgrade it to a self-trainer account later if she wants to. But I don't know, what's your thought? I mean, I guess we're brainstorming here, which is good.
Yeah, exactly. We are brainstorming.
So is that kind of your thoughts as well? Like a client will be given a free account to start with.
There's a message from Leonardo Mascara who says he has to leave but wants to congratulate Andrew, Oksana, and me on this sensational accomplishment. Better word than explosive. I think it's fantastic. Big kiss, my dear friend. Best regards to everyone else too. Can there be a discount for a yearly account?
Probably.
There could, yeah, and we certainly could do tiered accounts like some people are suggesting. That's a good suggestion, Bethany. 50 clients for X amount and so forth. The main thing is that we need to make sure that it's affordable to the Mind Mirror community because, yes, it's expensive to have a website and payment plans and the subscription widgets and all that stuff. We don't even know what that's going to cost yet. I mean, we're literally still getting the platform, the sales and the delivery platform set up. But one thing is for sure, if it's not of use to our community, it has not met its goal, because that was what Andrew conceived to begin with, and that is the goal, is to optimize all Mind Mirror owners. Cecilia asked how many self-trainers, how many practitioners are there? I think there are about 60 practitioners at this point, although I trained 22 alone this year. So our numbers are multiplying. I do see that the self-trainer who extends this network could do an enormous service. We have to set prices to begin with. Besides the idea of tiered, want to hear what people can afford. Can you guys give us some feedback on whether $30 a month would well, first of all, whether you think that you would want to do the portal, and then secondly, if these prices seem reasonable as a starting point.
I can say that I would certainly see incredible value in having the portal. So congratulations to you all. Thank you so much, Andrew, for joining at the perfect time because I just joined. I absolutely would. I think over here in Europe, I mean, our economy is not like the US, but if we're talking less than $100, especially for those of us who are just starting and we won't be cranking out tons of them in the beginning, I'd want to keep the cost low since it's not something that I would be using to generate revenue just yet.
You know, what you say makes me realize that we really could grow with you. Start with what you can afford, and then as you generate more clients and more things are added to the portal. I mean, Andrew has put in weeks, months into this thing already of coding work, and it's going to grow. There will be more things that it can do as you guys suggest possibilities, and as we brainstorm possibilities. So it could be that we could bring the price up a little in 6 months or a year, and it could be more commensurate with what it's worth, rather than and then gear it right now to what you can afford starting out new.
I mean, I believe it would probably be great, given that we're just starting and there will be lots of comments and experiences. And if Andrew builds these in, this is an enormous amount of work for him. On the other side, if I look at this, if I hear there are 300 practitioners or self-trainers all over the world, this is compared to the opportunity, nothing. So it will probably, it's not known, right? There's no market behind it. There's no branding behind it. So certainly with Andrea's activities, there will be more, at least visibility. However, it may take, even with all the ease the system now offers with Andrew's work and yours and Oksana's, it still will take a while to really make a business with that, I guess. So if we start with where we are, adding a little bit, and then add features and buy the added features rather than having the overall price increase, so that those who may have been successful with building a business, that the features would self-pay. I don't know if this is feasible for Andrew to charge separately for new features, rather than adding whole costs to something which may not be necessary for most, but only for some.
Yeah.
That's actually a very good idea.
Yeah, I think so.
A menu.
Yeah.
Yeah, as it goes on. Yeah. Yeah, we could do that. We want to start somewhere to repay Andrew for his work, though. I mean, I can't even begin to estimate what this is worth here. Yeah, so anybody else? Feedback about prices, if the affordability, if we start self-trainers at 25 and practitioners at 30, would that be feasible for you? Would that give you enough value? I mean, considering that hopefully a practitioner would charge a minimum of $100 per session, and one session per month would more than pay for the portal. And self-trainers hopefully are using their mind mirrors many times a month, and if they hooked up one person, it would pay their portal.
Well, I find this absolutely fantastic, wonderful, and dreamt of. So, and as you say, I can imagine the work that's gone into it. Well, perhaps I can't even imagine the work that's gone into it. So I think it has a huge value, and I really don't think that $25 or $30 a month is a lot compared to what it's compared to its value, its potential, and its real immediate value. I certainly would pay that very willingly. And I like the idea, all the various ideas that have been put forward of tiering or of extra options, etc. My question now is just, when is this going to be available?
In the next 2-3 months, I guess. Will have a beta version coming out before that, to have real users test it, probably in March.
If I may want to add a little weirdness to the pricing. I really love the idea of being at about 25 to 30, but I do understand that there's a potential of a significantly higher value, which would ask for more than that. But this may be only very few people in the community, but over time we may get more. I believe in honesty of those individuals who benefit most from this financially, that they may do specific donations to Andrew or the team around Andrew who develop this, and just by whatever they feel right is an added value they're getting from this, which they couldn't do at this, for some, probably way too low price. I believe it's important to keep it at the 25-30 so that we can all learn and see, and some of us will not regain the 25 or 30, but others do. So I think next to the, if you keep this commitment to keep it at this really low entry price, then I believe there may be really a call for everybody to decide what is their real financial value of using that, and open it up for voluntary donations, which nobody needs to know about other than Andrew and the team around it.
That's lovely, Arne. Dear sweetheart. Thank you for that.
I didn't say I would do it.
Close enough, close enough.
Sorry.
I love it. I love it.
Judith, there is another suggestion, because I, with other, people I work with, we used to do crowdfunding whenever there is major, project upgrade or something. Those who are interested, they can invest some money, just one-off, or with the further discount in their membership or whatever, but they just invent a lump sum, how interested they are in this, and then you can always see if you can meet the targets, the cost, how much it will be fair to be, compensated, at least to make it worthwhile, and, invest in the whole thing. So I think if Andrew is able to price his services, and whoever else effort is involved in timing and recording, and because it's a huge, huge project. So at least, Andrew's effort should definitely be fairly compensated.
I love this. Wayne wrote, hi Wayne, 25 sounds good to me as self-trainer, and agree that this is a very good value, just moving strongly into the power of the internet age. Maybe a one-time sign-up fee plus the monthly thereafter. What about a GoFundMe page for Andrew? Yeah, I mean, you could do that, but I really like what the follow-up person said.
Andrew needs to make enough to keep this motivation going strong. How about one-time setup fee of $100 and then $30 a month? And then from Christy to everyone, since I'm just discovering the system, mind mirroring software, and not generating any income for the time being, I probably wouldn't subscribe for $25, $30 a month for now. I'm comparing with other subscriptions for my business that are at $100 per year for email marketing and $200 for the website. But once I will be working with the system more professionally, I might change my mind.
Sure, and in the meanwhile, use the free account, get 3 sessions free per month. I like the $100 setup fee. Andrew and I are apportioning the income from the subscriptions, and that would help me a lot because I'm spending many thousands of dollars in the recording studio.
First of all, I think we should just think about the group, how big the group is at this point, and how to expand it. I think this is brilliant. I think this is a wonderful, wonderful innovation. It is right in line with, the internet age and being able to transmit this information and have it available to multiple users all over the world. But here's the thing, this is a very small group. And, you got to start small and build up. And there is a great deal of capital that is required at the beginning of any startup. And that's what this really is. It's a startup. And so, there are going to be losses until you get it moving. And it's important that it be used. So you need to, or you would want to think about pricing it with tiers, with a free period, to do a lot of beta testing, to work out the kinks, to get it to a point where it is a commercially viable product that you're going to be marketing.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, and I appreciate that input. Unless anybody has any more money questions or money comments, I think we've got some good things to think about here. And of course, we're happy to hear from any of you by email or text. For now, it's enough to see all of your happy, shining faces from all over the world. And it's also enough to say, thank you, Andrew. On he went out of the goodness of his heart, to serve us all. So kudos for that, Andrew. And everyone here recognizes the extent of what you've done and the incredible expertise it took to do it. What would you like to say before we ask people if they would like to say anything?
Well, I mean, I've already gone this far. I'm going to see it to the end, no matter what happens with the money situation.
Fantastic. That says it all. This is going to be a really interesting year, don't you feel? Something about 2020, I guess it's those twos, that master number 22 in the year. I think that it's going to be a year of abundance and unique and new and exciting opportunities for all of us. And the portal certainly is one. And Andrew, we can all unmute ourselves and clap for you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Exciting. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
And we'll all be back in touch.